for you guys to know what's going on, I'm Drew, and this is Matt. And we're going to be running this segment now. We're calling it Smash Talk. Obviously, SmashersOn. You guys are on our channel right now. Some people were with us since we were the Golf Biz. We've since rebranded a little bit. All those episodes are still up, though. That's us talking about our background in managing, owning, operating golf courses over the last 20-plus years. But Smash Talk, man, it's all about the new SmashersOn app, SmashersOn in general, not just being a lifestyle brand, but now an app and a program we're developing to just do, it's really overplayed, if we're being honest, the bringing people to golf, bringing people together and stuff.
Yeah, trying to change the game and grow the game.
But we're excited because we have the ability to. We actually are people who are responsible for golf courses. We have the facilities to go out and try these crazy ideas that and we come up with. And so, the app is really the next vehicle we're looking to use because we think it synergizes super well with Top Tracer, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, so that is like a really good point. And I think it's fun to start out and kind of discuss like, what is SmashersOn as a whole? I mean, I think most people at this point know we have an app, we have properties, we have clothing. But what is like the message behind all of this that we're trying to really develop and push towards not only the golf community, but just the community in general?
Yeah, and the inspiration behind it, and people may have heard it from our other videos and stuff before, but SmashersOn really was a saying between some of us that work here, and it came from, Joe and his brother Mikey, who manages our facilities out in Florida. And as kids, growing up, they would just say, hey, man, and like nowadays, we all I grew up saying "send it." You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's pretty much the same thing. Like instead of saying "send it," they were like, "Dude, SmashersOn, bro," because they all grew up playing golf and they all have very short attention spans. So I think it was the perfect storm of like everybody's going and they're paying attention to scoreboards in these golf tournaments when they were juniors, and they were like, dude, everyone's gonna lay up, but like I've got a comfy lead. Like, dude, SmashersOn, we're gonna go for it. Yeah. Or hey, it's like I'm only gonna chase down the leader if I go for it, So they would say SmashersOn. They'd pull out the driver when it was questionable at best, but they would just let it rip. They would go for broke, and a lot of times it would not work out, and sometimes it would. And that philosophy is really what Paradigm Golf Group has been built on in the golf industry, and SmashersOn is now taking to the golf and entertainment centers and the driving ranges and stuff. Is that we're gonna miss the mark. Yeah. We're gonna mess up. But there's a difference between like failing or losing and like failing forward.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things that you're really touching on and is probably one of my favorite, I don't want to say my favorite, but one of my favorite parts of the saying SmashersOn and of this brand and of this whole group and this whole community is when we're saying SmashersOn, we're saying go for it. We're saying, no laying up, like all these different things. What we're really saying is we're not afraid to make the mistake. Yeah. In fact, almost we want to make the mistake because it shows that we gave it a shot. We were committed. We tried and we learned from it. I think that's one of the cooler things for me and is I'll find myself before I do a lot of things in life, like, screw it, man, SmashersOn. Let's go for it. Let's like see what happens, And if the result isn't what I wanted, that's okay because it's usually what I needed. And I think that that's a really cool, valuable thing to take away from what we're trying to build here right now. Yeah. And would you agree?
Totally. And I think the key to what you just kind of said is that, I don't know if you've ever felt this, but if you've like gone out, set out to do something, I don't know, a math problem in school or whatever, and you do it right, right? You get the answer and the teacher's like, yep, you're right. And you're like, oh shit, I don't know how I did that. Like that was kind of just blind luck. Yeah, and now you're really scared to have to do it again. Where when you go through that healthy process and you go through the normal types of growth that you experience in most walks of life, like you make the minor mistakes and you learn to do the small things correct so that you can have this quiet confidence, like I can do that on repeat with my eyes closed, right? You look at professional athletes, golfers, they can hit their wedge pretty much exactly where they want. That's why they're the best in the world, right? And so to bring it all full circle, Smash Talk is going to be our platform to talk about any of the things that we have going on with this app. And I guess we should talk a little bit about what the app we keep referring to does, right?
Yeah, so for sure. I think that leads perfectly into it.
This app is initially, it's going to be meant to allow people to compete and connect and just stay engaged with their practice sessions. It is going to require you to have a Top Tracer range near you. So in Arizona, I think we have 4 of them that are outfitted all the same with the monitors. And we have all the Top Golfs that have some of the same features. I know Top Golf and Top Tracer, sister companies, they're working to standardize all their games from what we've talked to the people that are running those 2 businesses.
correct.
And so it's pretty cool because now, I have moved away from San Diego. There happens to be a range there. A bunch of my old roommates live there. So, the idea kind of came like I could go on SmashersOn our app and I can find a tournament where we've got people playing at our courses in Florida, in Maui, here, and hopefully picking it up anywhere there's a Top Tracer range, all competing, going for prizes, and just having more fun on the range.
Yeah.
Or, we have the head-to-head feature, which will be the next significant undertaking on the development side, which will be like I can go when I get off work, set up a match, play it, and then I send that link to Matt or to anybody else who might still be at work or might be out of town, and they'll have time. They'll get the rule set on their phone, and they'll be able to play against you, and you guys put a little entry fee in, and the winner gets the entry fees back, or you can play just for fun, however you want. So it's going to be cool. We're trying to set it up and let people do what they want. The feature we're wrapping up right now is the leagues too, which is cool because, us as operators at Dobson, we've done some Tuesday night leagues. The guys at Tropicana, they were doing a Tuesday night Top Tracer league at Glen Oaks, which was super cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
They had a massive
Super
turnout.
yeah.
But what we've seen in all of them, right, like the operator side of it is you have to have like people there. Or if you're a group that's doing a league, like
you got to score it yourself.
Yeah, you got to score it yourself. You got to get everyone there. Scheduling
it,
conflicts is a huge one.
For sure.
And all that kind of stuff. And then the nice thing about Top Tracer in general, you've used this a lot when talking about events, but like you can't cheat.
Nope.
The scorecard reads out how many times you hit mulligan. It tells you what tee box you did and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool in that regard. But yeah, hopefully that's a concise enough kind of breakdown. So part of Smash Talk is we're going to just talk about all the events we've held so far. Some of the different ways we've had people ask to use the app and we've used it ourselves, some things we've learned and what we've got coming. And we just want to keep all of you informed, what's coming next. We want to hear from all of you, how you would like to use it. If people out there want to use it for a league, whether you have friends scattered all over or you're all local, we have a function right now in the actual app itself. It's on both Android and the Google Play Store, and it's on the Apple iOS App Store. There's a league inquiry thing. You fill it out, it comes right to me. I'll reach out to you. We'll set up the league the best we can for the way you want to do it, and we'll make it happen. So
So as someone, and I mean transparently for everyone at home, I know a lot about the app. We've been working on it for 2 years now, a year and a half almost.
Yeah, we're probably at like a year since they've like started giving us pieces to like look at
for sure. And for this, I want to play coy and ask questions that like somebody that's brand new that might not know anything about it, and we'll go a little over the app, spend about 5 minutes on it, and then the cool thing for everyone at home is like we've already done leagues.
Yeah.
And we've got some really cool things to update. We've seen some massive scores. We've seen some underdogs win. We've seen some really, really cool stuff happen that really presses on that thing that anyone and everyone can play and win, which I think is really cool. But for the sake of this, so if I'm hearing this correct, I at home, I've got 12 friends. They're scattered all across the country. And I've got a bunch of people that live all over the world. If they have a Top Tracer range near them or a Top Golf to a certain extent, because they don't have all the same features yet, but they're getting there, I can create what sounds like a fantasy league and kind of play against those 12 dudes. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. So where, and it's funny because I've never actually done fantasy football. The closest thing I've ever done
never done fantasy football?
Dude, I've stayed away.
No way.
I've watched too many roommates, siblings, family members just absolutely lose it. And like, I know a lot of people do it to stay engaged with sports, especially now people are turning to sports betting to stay engaged in sports, which I totally understand it all. I stay away from it because I know I'll get absorbed.
Oh, for sure,
so,
dude. I actually had to step away from it because I was so into it.
Totally.
Yeah, dude. I totally get it.
And I just, dude, for even the sports I've played, I've been so bad at following like who good players are. I don't know people's names. I don't know stats. I'm not a stat block guy. For sure. So I would just be like a set and forget and like, oh shit, there goes my $50 again.
Right.
Like whatever. Exactly. It was fun, I guess, to be a part of it. But no, so with fantasy leagues, right? You have your week, you watch what's going on, and then you set your thing, and then it kind of runs on autopilot. But what's cool is, yeah, you can play with people from anywhere, all over. It's cool because we got this from Aaron, right? A top tracer, asynchronous gaming and play, like Words with Friends and stuff is the concept we're going with because
what was the chess game that we all used to play? What was it called?
There's like chess.com.
Yeah,
like that
you could
app.
make your move and then it would sit there and then your friend would have
and like the iPhone, the iMessage came with like the beer pong one and tic-tac-toe.
That's right, the beer pong one was
all those
awesome.
ones. When the iPhone came out with that, people were obsessed with it. And so for this, where most people have golf trips, they look forward to one golf trip a year, or they go like, hey, we're going to do this big fundraiser event for our company once a year, and everyone's got to be same place, same time. That's such a hard thing nowadays, especially as people have moved to remote work. People have moved out of where they are. You have a lot of people that are starting to spread wider, work different hours. You have service industry where some people work mornings, some people work nights. A lot of people's weekends are like Tuesday, Thursday.
It's tough. I mean, selling events at Dobson and for our golf course, the thing I've noticed, and I've told a lot of customers, it's the TikTok effect, right? It's like a week, 2 weeks prior to, people still don't know. They don't want to plan that far ahead. You're totally spot on with that. That's a real thing.
And so what's nice about this is where fantasy sports like fantasy football, you set your roster and then it happens. For this, we will set the event parameters, or your league commissioner will set the league parameters. How long do they want each time period to be? So it could be a weekly league is a classic one, right? Monday morning till Sunday night, you guys will have a rule set. It'll say how many holes, what game you're playing, what course, and things like that. And then what's cool is now anybody can go on their own time. You and I can go if we work together, we can go together. But if you're in a pinch and you've got, you're the one friend who's already married and has a bag full of kids, you don't have the free time like all your other buddies. So you got to go when the kids are napping or they're at daycare or whatever. Like you might have a small window, and this is a way to get back engaged with them.
Right. No, I think that's really cool, especially, I mean, hitting on so many different things because it's life gets busy. I mean, even in my own personal life, finding time to practice changes every week. I don't have like the 4 o'clock slot like I do for, weekly meetings or stuff like that. So is there a cap, a number of players that you can have? I mean, what's the...
Dude, totally up to you and up to the other people, right? So, in our tournaments, we have not implemented any caps.
I love that.
We haven't even done any minimums, honestly. We understand it. Like, dude, it seems like everybody and their mother nowadays has an app. We didn't realize what it is actually like and kind of how annoying that is until we were saying it. Like, yeah, man, I got this app that I'm working on. And you could just see the physical change in people. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, dude, that's so true. That's 100% true.
So, but no, I mean, we don't have minimums on them right now either because we understand, like, we are in a fortunate enough position where we have businesses that are helping support the development of this app. So we know that we're going to have to kiss some frogs. Like there's things you're going to have to write off as marketing expenses. It's going to be learning lessons like we talked about before.
SmashersOn.
Yeah. It's scared money doesn't make money. So we know we've got to put up cool prizes. We have to spend money on fixing some of these bugs that are going to crop up inevitably forever.
Yeah.
And so we're fine doing an event and we say the payout is going to be a Scotty Cameron putter. And if 3 people pay $10 to get in, whatever, right? Like we're not in it right now to make anything. We're really just trying to figure this out.
For sure. That sounds, and that was leading right into the next question is I've got, 6 friends, 12 friends, 18 friends, 20, whatever, right? I have a number of people that are committed that want to do it. We want to do a 12-week league, and we can put up Smash Cash. That's what it's called, right? To go to the Smash store through there. And again, like I know about it, so you can buy Devro or Good or Travis Matthews or Callaway or really, really cool prizes. So you're betting on your success and also winning and maximizing your practicing, but also like the new swag you get, which is really, really cool. So after you whoop your friends in the SmashersOn League, you can outdrive them with a real driver on green grass golf, right? And be like, oh, by the way, I won this off of you. So you can really like bring that smack talk anywhere you want to, which I think is really cool. What about open league play? Like say I'm dominating my friends. I go, dude, you know what? I'm like way too good at this. What about open league play? What are we doing for that?
Yeah, so as far as the open play right now, the first feature that we had up and running that's probably the most flushed out is just straight up events, right? So they're standalone tournaments or events, however you want to look at them, And that's something that we try to make. We tend to give them 4 to 6 or 7 days or whatever of runtime. I try to set them up staggered, so there's always 1 or 2 that are ending in like a 2 or 3 day frame, so people can get that kind of, oh, I can play today, and in 2 days I will have a payout if I place well enough, right? So we're going to have those, and we built this in mind. I know one of the biggest visions that we've got, he's not here right now, but Joe, we want to do a massive, like a world championship. And so we're going to do that here at Dobson Ranch. Eventually we'll do it in Florida when their construction's done on their new clubhouse.
I can't wait. That range is going to be so sick.
And it'll be cool. So we built in those leagues, by the way, we have a standings board. So if it's a 6-week league, it is going to track, not just the payouts, but it's going to give points. So it's going to be like a series, like if you're racing in Mario Kart, you know what I mean? You win the first race, botch the second, you're still in the middle of the pack kind of deal. We're going to have one that's kind of a master one based on different criteria. So the game type, the handicaps, we can flight things, do whatever, and we'll call them the world points, right? We'll call it a type of world standings. And then we would just invite people that have won events frequently, maybe won some of the bigger leagues or leagues that are based out of facilities that we've partnered with, and we've got rules that we agree on. And so we'll take their top 4 and invite them out, but yeah, we'll have just your average Joe can keep grinding away, playing. And if they do well enough or they catch someone's eye or they want to, they just reach out and ask, hey, can I come? Like, we'll probably say yes. And then they can come to the live shootout, we'll do in about a year's time. And
would it be asinine of me to say that we've noticed that players are a little bit, their handicap would be a little bit better on Top Tracer than it would be in green grass golf?
Yeah, it definitely is different. I'm probably the least comfortable saying it's just across the board better.
Yeah, I agree.
Compared to everybody else that that we're working with that says it, but yes, to a degree. I don't think it's going to make many people worse.
For sure.
I think it's gonna shorten the skill gap, right? You take, and one of the examples I know we're itching to talk about is like our Milo versus Rob match. And for you guys out there, Milo Lines is a really, really well-respected instructor, works out here in Arizona. I mean, shoot, at this point, our entire staff has gone to him or is going to him. But he's an awesome dude. Like, he's all about really cool philosophy, being an athlete and all that kind of stuff. And he does his lessons out here sometimes, and he'll do like his golf schools with his partnered instructors. But he played Rob, who is he was getting his doctorate in physics. He's just your run of the mill. He loves to come out in the afternoon and play. He's on a budget. He's a resident range rat, whatever you want to call him. But Rob figured out a way to be good at Top Tracer, right?
Kind of like video game it almost.
Exactly. Yeah. He found, he found the ways the games tick, right? Because there's no putting, right? For anyone who's never seen or used Top Tracer or even TrackMan, some of the comparable things, you obviously can't go onto a driving range and then putt into the range. Like that's not how it works. So what they do is when you get around the greens, it switches to like a chipping mini game. So the people that spend hours out there working on their putting, a super important part of the golf game, well, that's wiped off the board.
Yeah, for sure.
So the distinction for me between like a Milo and a Rob is Milo will drum most golfers because he's a good putter, right? Or a professional golfer, someone who is really good, is typically a good putter. You don't meet very many people that suck at putting and they put up great scores.
It's like everyone talks about Tiger Woods and overpowering golf courses, but the reality is he was just the best putter on the planet.
For sure.
I mean, and that's like the thing that everyone talks about is his putting was incredible.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that.
And so that's one of those things where for me, right, like I'm someone that can hit the ball far enough because I have like the classic, I played baseball, I have quick hands, I have all this power that I can generate, even though I don't really know what I'm doing when I swing the club. So my goal when I play is get within 30 yards as quickly as possible, because even if I don't hit it that straight, I now pretty much have a 30-yard radius.
Yep.
If I can land it in that, like take a par 5, I can drive the ball a couple 100 yards.
A couple 400 yards,
and
just
then,
so everyone at home knows.
And then I can hit a mid to long iron, even on the longest holes on Top Tracer. And if I can land it in this sizable circle to be like 30 yards or in, the worst I can do is a par, because in Top Tracer you 3-putt max.
Caps it. Yeah,
you 3-putt max. So I am super bailed out there. We're on like the course. I might have a monster drive and then I hit it and it goes, I'm still 30 yards away. Great. Most people would say I have a good look at a birdie, but then I suck at chipping and I leave
I
it,
feel that.
I leave it 5 yards off the green and then I
yeah.
try to chip again instead of putt. And now I'm on the green for a par with like a 40-foot putt and now I double.
So I think the thing, and it like you said, it doesn't necessarily make you better or even the playing field or this or that. But you had mentioned something that really caught my attention, which is flighting, which to me says that there's a net and gross system.
Yep.
Right. Which I think does in theory even the playing field a lot more. Right?
Yeah, because
just because you're a higher handicap, let's say you're a 10 handicap on the top tracer, you're 2 strokes better, so you're an 8, right?
Sure.
Like, that's massive. It's not that massive.
Yeah.
But you can go into the 5 to 10 handicap flight and really compete in that flight. You know what I mean? Especially if it's net and or gross, right?
Sure.
So it's a...
Yeah, and we're not doing just a straight up handicap system the same way. Like it's not a straight conversion. To your point earlier, I think that's kind of what you were aiming at too, is that if you're a 10 handicap index, you're not just going to be a 10 by default on Top Tracer. It's going to be different. So we have a formula that we've played with and tweaked with at our properties, doing these fun matches between staff and friends. And so we've got it kind of down to a science where, and then it adjusts based on how many holes you're playing. So 3-hole match, 6, 9, it's going to adjust your handicap. We don't have course difficulty factored in. So all the courses are treated as the same on Top Tracer. But yeah, so it is letting people, it's obviously giving people like a traditional handicap. You gain or lose strokes when you're playing in a net event. But to me, the biggest thing I think that's overlooked about handicaps is exactly what you just touched on. I am now playing against people. It's really something to use to categorize people too.
100%. Yeah.
Because, I look at all these skins games and tournaments that happen, and you get these really, really good golfers who spend a ton of time, and then they're like not happy to play in a skins game if it's a net skins game because they're like, well, I don't get any strokes. Like I'm at a huge disadvantage now. So for us from day one, knowing that we needed the options for net, gross, events that was both was really, really important, because to me, the key to all of this is having so much function in the app that people can use it how they want. Because you can even still like,
really cool.
That's where it goes to you and your 12 buddies across the country. Yeah. Even if you all suck, you can all agree, we're going to play gross amongst ourselves, because I just want to, like, we all equally suck. So it's fine. Right? You don't have to use handicaps, you know what I mean? So it's cool to have all that like all those functions there for people to pick and choose from.
Yeah, sure. But from the more traditional golf mindset of there are a lot of green grass groups that we've worked with. Valley golfers, right? Dude, like that's a great example where they have a green grass league. They do it on a weekly basis, and then before their league started, they actually did an Olympic event.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
Like it was so cool because they had to do a long drive, closest to the pin. Yep. One of the,
I think they did 5 events. It was 3 closest to the pins, so like a short, medium, and long one. Yeah. They did the long drive, and then I think they did like 9 holes.
Yeah, for sure.
It was awesome, and they're a really cool example. Shout out to Connor and Ben and the rest of the people that make that. Yeah, that make that league happen. Because they came up with something that we had never even considered. They were like, yeah, man, so we get it. Like, this was before leagues was even close to being done. So they were like, we get it. Could we do like a combine for our guys? And I was like, holy dude, yeah, let's do it.
That's super sick.
And so they really came up with the idea, and we just figured out how to facilitate it. And we definitely learned a lot. So did they. Their members had no real clue what the heck was going on. They just did what they were told by the guys that run it. But dude, they had so much fun. And what's cool about that is in this market in Arizona, like a lot of them, golf has continued to skyrocket in price. Golf courses with water and development and how important land is nowadays, it's just really hard to just build a new golf course. So there's not going to be more golf really made.
I think like the last one in Arizona was like $27 million to build the golf course.
Yeah,
I mean,
and so
insane.
Supply is kind of set at where it's at, or it's only going to decrease over time, and demand is continuing to skyrocket. Now that probably won't be forever, but in this moment, like people just don't they can't play enough.
Well,
they want to do more golf.
And you really touched on it. It's that time.
Yeah.
Right. Like time is the most important part. I think everyone at home knows. I mean, 4.5 just to play. You want to warm up. That's another hour. So now you're 5.5. You got to drive there. That's another hour to maybe even 3 if you're a dedicated golfer, right? And traveling all over to play. That's a long day. And you got kids, you got a family, you have, girlfriend, wife, boyfriend, husband, whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's a big commitment to take out of. And so the one thing we can almost for certainly say is that the top tracer does cut that time down dramatically.
100%.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, I think even the Valley Golf guys messing around, drinking, having a good time, like that's what they're about on the range, right? They're a social group of dudes. I mean, even they were able to play 9 holes in like 2 hours.
Yeah, and it was cool. It really showed off the flexibility you had touched on about the leagues.
Under 2 hours. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. But the flexibility you had touched on about the leagues is each event and each thing was open for a week. So they actually, how they did it is they would come in waves. Right, so they'd be like 6 one day, and then 18 the next day, and then 10 the next day, right? Yeah. And so like they'd come in waves, but they would even have some guys that just like couldn't make it because they worked in the service industry or they worked in the warehousing industry, whatever, right? Yeah. They would come on a Tuesday morning and just be like, "Hey man, here's my code. I'm going to do the league." We would hook them up and get their bays and everything set up, and they would do it on their own. Yep. What I thought was really cool for them because it was like, no, it's the ultimate flexibility for you guys. You can either all come as a group and schedule it yourselves and have a good time with 8 or 10 or 12 of you, or if Johnny can only come or Susan can only come on a Tuesday, then no big deal. You know what I mean? Which I think is like just money. So yeah. With that being said, I mean, that's a good understanding of what the app is doing. I know Smash Play is coming. I'm really excited for that because that's like 1v1, 2v2. Like, give me a little breakdown on what the Smash Play is going to look like for the people out there, because I think it's going to be really
Smash Play. I'm not even going to hide it. That's what I'm the most excited about because it's like what I want to do. Just me as a golfer, I want to go, and instead of getting a large bucket and talking myself into how all of my crappy shots really weren't that crappy and to make myself feel good. Yeah. Now I can pull out my phone, set up some rules, text Matt a link, and then I'm playing against him. Boom. 15 balls later, I've just played a 3-hole match, or maybe I hit 10, 15 balls that are close to the pin. Boom, time's up. I log my score, and then I'm on to the next person. And I can just start clipping people off, sending out my challenges, or I could challenge the same person to multiple events, and then that way, when they go, they have something fun to do at the range, and all while like you're still working on your game. Like,
well, and that's kind of cool. Can the user set the amount of time that they've challenged the person to respond to? I know that probably sounded sloppy, but
no, I know what you mean. Like, hey, you have 1 week to play me.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
That's what you're talking about.
Or 72 hours. Because I mean, if you're looking at it from like an accountability situation, totally. Like, hey man, you said you were going to practice. You got 72 hours to respond. You know what I mean? Like, because we're all going to Bandon Dunes in 3 weeks. Yeah. And you got to get your game ready.
I think ultimately that's where we want to go. Yeah. Like that's how I had envisioned it in the beginning, being in like the coding world and stuff like that. I don't really know much about it, but I know these things are not as simple as the products we see and use every day. There's a lot of underlying stuff. So they're building it with that in mind. My guess is the first iteration will be like, I think right now the function that it has, you can only have one match going at a time, which is kind of a drag. We're trying to fix that. And that's one of the big pushes, is to make almost like a lobby or like a list of pending and completed matches, right? So that would be the phase 1. And then it's going to eventually, I would like to put an expiration, give them a gracious one, like a week.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, hey, it's expired. No, there's no penalty. Whatever happens, it just resets or just doesn't count. But I think ultimately, I think right now you can pick, are you doing closest to the pin, long drive, a scramble, or stroke play? You can pick how many holes if you're doing stroke play. You can pick which course or which closest to the pin games you would like to do that mirror what Top Tracer has, and stuff like that.
Like closest to the pin ones, through the SmashersOn app are so much fun. I mean, I think it's funny. Me and Drew sat there and did one day, and I think we went through like 3 large buckets in 30 minutes.
Like 20 or 30 minutes.
It was like the 120-yard one. We're just like.
It was just like when we were kids playing. Like, I used the Tony Hawk is what it reminds me of. When I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as a kid, I learned terrible habits from my older brothers. Yeah. They were like, you started and you want to do this massive combo, and if you fell, boom, pause, reset, go.
Dude, 100%. And it was like you learned how to manual and grind and then keep going, and then manual again, and then switch manual off it, you know what I mean? Yes. So that you could just, and then this clock would expire, but your combo was still going. So you could go like a good 5-6 minutes, and if you were really good, even longer.
I
totally agree.
That was the feeling that I got on the range when we were doing that.
That is a really good example.
Like, I kept telling you, I was like, all right, man, cool, I'm gonna put this one close, then you could hit some, and it wasn't close enough. I was like, hold on, one more. I kept telling you one more. Dude, and poor Devin's trying to film it and get some footage, and he's just like, okay, guys, like,
it's so funny because from like the operator mindset, we were like, dude, we're going to sell 1,900 large buckets a day because people are just going to want to grind on these like little closest to the pins. It was hilarious, man. That was so much fun.
And even to bring it super full circle, not to go like way off road, but like you look at a guy like Rob now who's become obsessive borderline about some of these games, and his game on the course has continued to improve, probably beyond what it would have been if he didn't have.
No, he's gone from like an 80s golfer to like a low 70s golfer, like low 70s.
And I even noticed it. It was funny because I don't play a lot of golf anymore, and so in like the month of February, I probably played like 4 rounds of golf, which is funny, but it's like that's probably as much as I played all of 2022, and those were like for events when I played golf last year. So like to play 4 rounds pretty quickly in full 18-hole rounds, I did catch myself all the time because I've been playing tons of Top Tracer, A, for testing, B, because it's fun. But like I would find myself like, oh shoot, dude, I'm 60 yards away. I'm hitting it at the white target on our range.
Yeah,
and I
for
knew,
sure.
I finally, for once in my life, I knew how far to bring which club back, how to follow through, not to decel. It wasn't all just feel like, oh, I've actually done this.
Yeah,
like I had it translate.
Yeah, there was that practice. But I think the cool thing is it's that positive mental feeling.
Yeah.
It's that association with like, dude, I used to land a 1 million point, combo on Tony Hawk or Thug. I liked the Thug ones. Those were the best ones. And like underground, you could jump off the board and run around.
Off.
So
that
much
was
fun.
Revolutionary.
But you got that same feeling as you did with the game, and now you're bringing it to the golf course, and it's like it's all associated. It's all cyclical. It all turns into one like moment where it's like, oh, this is easy. Boom, you have confidence, which is key. Like that's what almost
you knew exactly what line you wanted to take.
Yeah, any athlete in any sport talks about what's the most important thing. It's just confidence. Period. You know what I mean? Like belief in yourself. Now some take it to an extreme. Conor McGregor, big fan, but still. And others are very humble about it, right? Yeah. Like a Peyton Manning or a Tom. You know what I mean? Totally. So, but I think that it's really cool that you can make that process occur through not only using the SmashersOn app and then practice and then going out to the golf course, but then from the golf course you go back and you're competing against your friends, and now you have more confidence because you played well on green grass and so on and so forth, right? I think that's really cool, man.
Yeah, man. So as we come to a close here, because I know you've got a hard stop anyways for a meeting, dude. We got 15 minutes.
I've got 15 minutes here. No, because I want to talk about Smash Golf Tour. Like we're already doing some open leagues, right?
Dude,
like,
and that's the perfect thing, because I was going to say this last piece, and at some point in each of these episodes, one of our goals for everybody out there is just to talk about the events we've done. Honestly, be open about the things we've learned, the bugs we found in our own app and what we're doing to address them. And then different ideas people have come up with. But we want to give shout outs to people who've already been playing, helping us test, winning prizes, and doing some cool stuff. Like I'm sitting here and to your point, the Smash Golf Tour is Mikey D out in Palm Beach, Florida. Mikey D, Nadia, Too Easy, the operator crew out there from a golf side are doing an awesome job. They are like the best entertainers. Like they literally lead a circus. I don't know how better to say it.
Yeah, dude,
but they just had it's funny, they had a grand opening even though they're actually demolishing their clubhouse. So it's like when they are closing, they're doing a grand opening just to launch the Top Tracer, because it's a new thing there.
For sure.
It's a temporary state.
That's the most Palm Beach national thing ever, dude.
Totally.
Pro shop's closed. Everything's closed. Grand opening Top Tracer.
Exactly.
So good. I love it.
They had over 400 people come out on a night, hang out. They got a couple kegs. People were buying cups. Like it was total backyard barn party style. They did an adult drive, chip, and putt. So they used the app. They made different divisions. We learned a lot of lessons. I just talked to Mikey before this episode to get his final numbers, and he's like, yeah, man, I realized that I have to kind of pay attention to what events people are signing up for. We had guys accidentally signing up for the ladies and the 60 and over and whatever, but they got it all handled. We knew worst case, they had plenty of staff there to do it manually. But it was really cool, good learning lessons. They gave away a ton of cool prizes, but they've been running a Smash Golf Tour, much like the Ultimate Driving Range Championship, which was what we've been doing here in Arizona, or we did last summer. And a really cool one is they did a qualifier. So they did about 3-4 weeks ago, they did a Smash Golf Tour qualifier on the app. Yep. It was $20 to enter. Each person that entered got a minimum payout of Smash Cash, which is what we talked about. It's our in-app tickets if you went to like Boomers or Dave & Buster's or something. And so they got a guaranteed payout just for playing. And Mikey took the top 6 scores and 2 randoms to keep an element of excitement in there. And dude, we had one guy, I forget his actual name, but his username was Cuban
Stogie.
Stogie.
I'm looking at it right
dude,
now. Yeah.
Mikey literally told him, hey, like, let's wait a couple days to upload your score. The guy went out and shot 13 or 12 under or
his
something
gross
insane.
was 28.
Yeah, on 9 holes. Like,
That's so
it was
sick.
hilarious. So he did that, obviously qualified first, but there was 5 other guys, 2 of them that they picked at random. But what was awesome is they rolled that into a live event is what those final 8 did. And he didn't win. Like one of the lower qualifiers is who ended up winning. So it was cool to see, things get different when lights, cameras, and stuff are on you. So Mikey made an awesome video about it. It was pretty cool to see. The guy who actually won is a contractor on an HGTV show.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
So cool.
We saw it, like one of the developers, funny enough, his wife watches the show and she's like, there's a SmashersOn hat on HGTV.
Yeah, that's so sick.
But so it was cool, man, to see it happen. One of the first major tournaments we did using the app, exactly what we've been expecting to happen happened.
I think the cool thing too is it proves that it's still golf.
Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of people, and this is just a reality, is they hear the word virtual, they hear the word virtual golf, they look at it and they go, well, not real golf. Well,
Yeah.
I'll call BS on that all day. You still got to hit
Tiger
the ball.
and Rory now, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, you look at Tomorrow Golf League. I mean, they're literally doing it, right? And so it shows that, just because you shoot a low round, look at Brooks Koepka in the Masters. I mean, I was rooting hard. I thought it was awesome. And then John Rahm, my other favorite golfer, so I was going to win no matter what. Like, he just had a better Sunday.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And so it's the same situation. But I mean, if you go through the leaderboard, dude, it's pretty sick. It's like, obviously Cuban Stogie was at 28, but then you've got 3 tied at 30, 3 tied at 31. You got one person at 32, and then a bunch of people at 33 and 34. Like, it was a competitive league.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, they have so many people out there that they have such a good grip, Mikey and his team, on like who their customers are. They knew exactly who to seek out for this one. They didn't go and find a bunch of like recreational golfers to come do this and compete because they knew that wouldn't land. So they went and found the people they knew are out there playing in their other tournaments, skins games, just the competitive people, and they got them signed. And they said, dude, it was the most fun that they'd had in a long time because they got to all hang out together. They got to like tease and joke when they were playing live, especially like stuff you can't really do on the course. You got 4 people and that's it. And some other people worth noting, we've run probably 50 small events in total in the last month and a half, 2 months, since like some of these features have become solidified. We've already had 2 hole-in-ones close to the pins.
Let's go.
So Parker Hincha and Cord McGowan each had a hole-in-one that they logged. They had their, upload validation and everything. A 60-yard one for Parker and a 104-yard hole-in-one for Cord. So
and those count.
Cool
I don't care what anyone at home says.
I count it.
A hole-in-one is a hole-in-one,
Yes.
dude. It's always going to count.
The hole's no bigger.
I've played enough golf and virtual golf to know it's all just as hard. So if it goes in the hole, I'm jumping up and down, throwing clubs, buying drinks.
And
that's for sure.
And that just actually reminded me too. I think one of the final things to put out there for anyone who's still sitting around watching, one of the things we haven't talked about is like, all right, but like, what's the legitimacy of it, right?
Yeah.
How are people validating their scores? And it's a really simple system. It almost sounds too simple to work, but it's worked really great so far. Top Tracer obviously has their monitors you're using to play. So all we have the user do, we give them exactly how to set it up, which tee box to use, which holes to play. We try to set the rules up in the same order that the Top Tracer monitor walks you through. So you should read, like in the rules, step 1 is pick the course. Oh, you're looking at the course selection screen. Once you do that, now it wants to know which holes and how many, and it matches. So we try to make that as simple as possible as far as a walkthrough. And then at the end, you hit enter score, and then you take a picture of the entire screen, and I'm on the back end able to zoom in and see it. It's good enough quality. And so people are putting pictures up every time. It's not going to let you pull from your camera roll. All of the pictures have to be done live. And that way you can't just like go play random ones, take pictures of all your good scores and upload it later.
Yeah.
We did just have a hiccup where that got re-enabled, the camera roll thing. But what's cool is on the back end, we can see, was this uploaded live or was it uploaded from the camera roll? And we just reject the camera roll ones.
Yeah.
Right. So we do go through, and if a score gets rejected, we give you a reason why. There's not currently a way for you to resubmit a score or us to give you a time frame, but that's a feature that would be cool to do. But for now, it's just educate. It's get people to do it right. The smash play will be cool because you'll be validating each other's scores.
I like that. So you
know
can
what
see
I mean?
back
So
and
yeah,
forth.
yeah,
I
you
think
can
that's
you
really,
can
really
approve
cool.
or deny theirs, and if it gets denied by one side or the other, then it gets pushed to the next stage. You know, for us to make sure. And but yeah, man. So it's been fun. It's been really cool stuff. I think we're over 1,000 downloads.
That's awesome.
And we've
That is
had
so cool.
We've had a couple hundred scores uploaded between the 50 or 60 events that we've done. And we're starting to work on getting feedback systems set up so that when people sign up for an event and they don't load a score, that's the biggest question for me now is I want to know why. Was it you saw a score and it deterred you? Did you forget? Did the app not work? Did you just not like your score, think you'd come back to it, and then you never did? Yeah. But yeah, man. So that's all the stuff we got cooking.
No, and I like the idea of the vulnerability. And for you, everyone at home, part of the Smash family, like let us know. Comment, email, call, whatever you can. Let us know what's working, what's not working. Give us ideas. Like we're down for any creative input that we can get because this is important for the golf community. Like we're just super excited to provide this and be a part of it and really develop something that we believe will truly be special.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've got a couple things for like upcoming stuff.
Let's hear it, man. Lay it on us.
I know we want it. We've already gotten some different ranges all the way across the country reaching out about leagues.
Yeah.
We got Winslow Range out in Boston.
Yeah,
which is pretty
Massachusetts.
sick. Dude, that's really, really cool. Yeah, Massachusetts, which is awesome. We've been working here in the state of Arizona. Shout out to the 4 Top Tracer ranges. Yep. We've got Bel Air, we've got Dobson, we've got Greenfield Lakes, and we've got Augusta. Mm-hmm. All of those we're working on an AZ league, right?
Yep. We're working on. We were gonna do just like a Dobson league, but we figured why start there? Why not just go big? And for us, it's been really insightful because each of these operators has had slightly different A, concerns, B, things they would like to get out of it. So I think it's cool because it's given us more perspective. But really, I think it's a cool way for these courses to finally have a reason to work together.
Yeah.
Because all those ranges, there's enough people that want to play and practice that no one should be scared about taking or losing customers from each other, where really Top Tracer as a technology and a platform is still so new and so like on the fringe. Like people don't really get it. They like think it's cool just because they're told to think it's cool.
Yeah.
But
I always joke it's just when the second you say it's Top Golf, people go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. But and it's ludicrous, dude. The conversion rate is unreal.
Yeah,
every single
totally
person.
agree.
I can say with full confidence, every single person saved maybe 10 that I've ever given free Top Tracer time to or free balls to go try it. And I've actually done my due diligence and I've answered their questions in person. Like it takes work for sure.
Well, when you look at it has to work because when you look at what these ranges have done, I mean, I'm going to talk about all 3 of them. I mean, Greenfield Lakes looks awesome. They've got this really cool kind of like Arizona sunset, Miami Vice vibe graffiti all over. They're putting in a simulator room. They're building a new pro shop. They've got a bar right behind it where you can get your balls and drinks and food. Like they've done an awesome job of completely recreating their range and turning it into like a really cool spot to hang out with your buddies and drink a beer and have a good time and compete. You've got Augusta, who has this really cool restaurant that's serving the entire range. Their range has an awesome structure that's going on, and they've been doing really cool events with like 4 Peaks. They did a big ranged party with their staff in the neighborhood around. Like they've seen a lot of success. And then Bel Air, it's that same vibe. They've got a really cool food truck. They've got these little casitas.
Like cabanas.
Yeah,
dude,
it's like cabanas.
I feel like I'm in Vegas.
Dude,
like,
yeah, you're like in
bottle service.
Yeah, you're chilling by like. So the Top Tracer has done this thing to these operators where they're like, dude, we're gonna do some cool stuff here. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let's add in an arcade element. Now let's add in this element. I mean, now let's put a bouncy house in. Screw it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so I think that's been just a really cool, awesome opportunity for all of these operators as well, is watching it grow. And now to be able to do an open competition and anywhere across the country, right? We're going to talk to some ranges in Texas here. We're going to be, so think about it. You're in Texas, you're competing against someone in Arizona and Boston and California, and you truly can become a champion around anyone, right?
Exactly.
And from anywhere at any time.
Totally.
That's never happened in recreation sports and professional sport, like anywhere. Yeah. I think it's really,
probably
really
just
cool.
video games.
Yeah, probably just video games, which are sports.
Yeah.
That is a sport,
Esports
dude. It's a real thing, man. And it's cool too. Cause I mean, like I'll jam out on League of Legends and all that kind of stuff all the time. It's sick, dude. So
yeah. Well, dude, this was fun. I'm excited to finally start doing this. Natalie will be joining us on some other weeks.
Big announcement for that, dude. I'm not going to give it away, but I think that there's something brewing there, man. I think Mikey might have a little competition here soon.
Uh-oh.
We'll leave it in suspense.
Yeah, maybe we'll zoom in Mikey or Too Easy from out in Florida every once in a while. But honestly, man, I would be excited to get some of the people from our range that have been playing to come on too and talk about it. So we have a lot of cool stuff going. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody, make sure you like, subscribe, leave us a couple comments letting us know what types of games you want to see, what other features, any feedback. Email me at the email below too. Don't hold back. Yeah, man. Appreciate everyone's time, and thanks for doing this, Matt.
Smashers